I don't mind if I do. Here we go. The Eagles, undefeated, but besieged. Storylines. They're not fun to watch. Blah, blah, blah. I don't pass well. Up 10-3. Here's a pass. Saquon downfield, running away. That is one of the best highlights of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Everything seems great. They're pulling away. 2-score lead. Romo and Nance are like, this one's kind of ho-hum. No, 17-10. Denver's a lot of things, but they're not quitters. They will not quit. And we go to Evan Engram. Remember him, New York. 11-yard touchdown, and they go for 2. Down 1, they go for 2.
Gotta have it.
And guess what? They get it. Tony Franklin, Bo Nix's college teammate, 2-point conversion. Broncos are winning in Philly. Ooh. How about this? We got something brewing. And then it gets ugly. Now watch this. This is a beautiful pass to Devontae Smith. There's your downfield offense. That's everything you want in Philly. But watch the flag, and this is deep into the minutia. You're going to see an illegal shift that's actually called on Saquon. When you have 2 men in motion, as you do with the wide receiver moving and Saquon moving, Saquon needs to reset completely before the ball is snapped. He doesn't. Nullifies a big gain. I know that was deep in the weeds, but it's a really important play. Now, down 4, 8 seconds left. We're skipping a lot of action here. Huge play here. Huge play, Dallas Goedert. His arm seems to be held back. He doesn't get the call. Philadelphia's mad about it. There was another one on Zach Vaughn that they didn't get. Sirianni's pissed. And now it's Hail Mary time. And I'm going to say this again. Devontae Smith has this thing timed so beautifully. High point, perfect timing, got it. And A.J. Brown, in his own attempt to get the ball, really makes the defensive play on Devontae. So this is when everything's going wrong. Your guy is breaking up the pass from his own cohort. Of course, I'm not blaming A.J. for this. Just trying to make a play. It's just a bad coincidence. I think Devontae would have caught that. Bo Nix gets a win in Philadelphia. How about that, man? Taking off the headset. Sirianni takes a loss for the first time in a long time, going back all the way through the Super Bowl. And that's it, boys and girls. 4-1, the Eagles. They lose by 4. Admittedly, a lot of questionable calls, but when don't we say that? The story here is the Denver Broncos winning, and here is their victorious comeback and how he's feeling following his team coming back in the fourth quarter.
It's a great win. It proves that we can go on the road and beat these tough teams, and we can be a tough team to play. So that's good for our confidence. It's good for going to this trip. A lot of teams struggle before they go to London, but we focused on this trip. We focused on this game, and we went out and got it done. It was good for us.
Give a lot to that team. They played an outstanding game. Executed situationally when they needed to, and they won that battle. Just have to really stay focused on the task at hand, stay focused on the main thing, and be bought into the collective of doing that by any means necessary. So this is a great one to learn from, and we will learn from it.
For 287 days, the Eagles would win a game when that man wearing that cap, Jalen Hurts, started a game and finished a game. They had won for a very long time. Until they didn't against the Denver Broncos, who came to town, and they also took Jalen Hurts down a handful of times, Manti.
Yeah, when I look at this offense, this Eagles offense, and I look at their struggles passing the ball, I equate Jalen Hurts to Nick Cannon's character in the movie Drumline.
Oh, now you're talking.
If you guys know the movie Drumline, Devin Miles, that's who Nick Cannon plays. He's a very skilled drummer, especially on the snare. He's special. He's a special talent. However, Devin Miles has one little fault, and he can't read music. Now, that doesn't make him any less of a drummer. He's a special drummer. However, I think that in this situation, that is the Philadelphia Eagles offense, Kevin Patullo being the offensive coordinator, he's putting his skilled drummer in situations that doesn't play to his strengths. Jalen Hurts is a special talent at the quarterback position. However, just like Devin Miles, Jalen Hurts has to be used a certain way. These long developing routes, these long developing patterns that his receivers are running aren't to his strengths. He needs quick passes, he needs rub routes, he needs screens. Both of his touchdowns that he threw yesterday was on a rub route to his tight end Tyler Goddard, and then on a wheel route to Saquon Barkley. Those are the types of matchups that Jalen Hurts needs to see. Those are the type of matchups that Jalen Hurts can go out there in a halftime show and play with his eyes closed. So I think that Kevin Patullo needs to do a better job at putting his skilled quarterback in positions that play to his strengths and not his weaknesses.
Yeah, we can talk about the deficiency of the Philadelphia Eagles, man, but we got to show love to this Broncos defense, who showed up and really put out some really good high-octane tape. You talk about right now, I consider Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley the best duo in football, and they put the Philadelphia Eagles run game on ice, man. You talk about Saquon just had 6 rushes for 30 yards. Yeah. Jalen Hurts was sacked 6 times. I mean, we haven't seen that type of performance from a defense against the Eagles in a long time. And what's great about what what the Broncos did, they pretty much laid out a blueprint on how to beat the Eagles. Stay in your rush lanes, attack off the edge, shrink the pocket, make Jalen Hurts throw from a well. We saw all that come into fruition during the game, and we saw, especially in the second half, they started to nickel blitz, getting some DB pressure, really sped up Jalen Hurts' process time in the pocket. And when we talk about what this defense can continue to do, they apply pressure, especially with Nick Benito. He had 2.5 sacks. Zach Allen was dominant. So the Broncos, for me, this defense really played really well. And they answered the bell. They met the challenge, and they came out on the other side with the W.
My takeaway watching this game is I think Bo Nix is one of the most important players in the NFL. He's very important, pivotal player. If he has it, anything's possible. If Bo Nix continues to blossom this year, the Broncos could win the Super Bowl this year. They have the coach. They have the defense. Can he make enough plays? I don't know. First half was rough. Second half was excellent. I don't know who he's going to be. He's so young in the league. He's so inexperienced. If he really has that run that he gets better and better, and we're looking in December like, wow, Knicks has really turned the corner, then Denver is going to be very, very formidable. Like, they're one of those teams that they could win the whole thing. I mean it. I mean, Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl in the second year. It all came together. They're built differently than that team, but he's a very important player. I don't know who he's going to be. Who he decides to be is going to determine a lot of fates in the AFC, because Denver has got it together. They just beat Philly. In terms of Philadelphia, I don't scream and cry and kick after a loss. Again, you weren't going to go 17-0. You lost to a good team with a great coach. It doesn't mean the season is over. It's just, there's a question of, for a team that's so established and that's the Super Bowl champs that we know so well, I still don't really know what their identity is, which is odd for the team. Like, they're a running team, right? Well, Saquon had 6 carries yesterday. What was that? So they're a passing team? No, of course not. Devontae Smith had a huge day statistically, and they scored 17 points. Also, let's just call the elephant in the room. There's not a lot of great body language. There's not a lot of great chemistry. I think it is palpable that the #1 wide receiver does not like the quarterback. I don't know if the #2 wide receiver likes the quarterback. I think it's becoming more and more obvious that it's just a thing that they're living with and playing through. That's a tough way to live. Also, I'm going to say something else that'll piss people off. I don't give a damn about the missed calls. I don't. Dallas Goedert has his jersey ripped for a second at the end of the game. You're scoring 17 points at home, and you throw it to the tight end, and he doesn't get a call. You really think they're going to bail you out in the last 30 seconds of the game? I don't. There was a lot of stuff the Eagles should have done better in that game, and I feel like crying for a call at the end of the game is beneath the Eagles and their fan base and the stature of this team. They should have played a lot better. I've seen referees make worse calls in bigger situations. Him missing AJ there or AJ missing him and stopping, you tell me which was worse. The lack of chemistry there is rough. So it's not the end of the world. The Eagles may win the next 10 games in a row, or it could fall apart. We've seen both of those things happen under this head coach with this talent. So you guys decide.